It doesn't stop, even in the dead of night in a snowstorm. People keep turning up at Roxham Road, at least 100 every day. But for most, the road to refuge doesn't end here anymore.
Once you cross, okay, you cannot go back again.
Roxham Road is an irregular border crossing between New York and Quebec.
Just ask them why they're here.
¿Por qué están aquí ustedes?
Por el conflicto armado.
This family from Colombia tells us they're running from armed conflict back home.
Hasta luego. Gracias.
They're relieved to have made it. But like thousands before them, they will be moved along. The people you just saw who got on that bus are being taken now to a processing center a few kilometers away. From there, they'll be taken to a local hotel. They'll stay for a couple of days maybe, but then they're going to be put on buses and they're going to be sent to other provinces because Quebec says it cannot handle any more people coming here seeking asylum. In the last year, roughly 39,000 people have crossed here into Quebec. Many are francophone and hope to stay, but the latest arrivals don't have that option and don't choose where they go next. The communities they're ending up in haven't had much choice either. The federal government wants to transport people all over the country. In Ontario, the majority are being sent to Niagara Falls, where we're heading now. As a tourist hotspot, the city has a ton of hotels, and Ottawa has reserved nearly 2,000 rooms there. The federal government is paying for rooms and meals. On average, asylum seekers spend 60 days in hotels while they wait for work permits and are entitled to medical and social assistance. Not far from one of them, we meet Mohammed. He's too afraid to disclose more of his identity because he says he fled Central Africa fearful for his life. Mohammed was given an ID bracelet when he arrived at Roxham Road a couple of weeks ago. Shortly after, he was put on a bus to Niagara Falls. He says he didn't have a choice, doesn't speak English, and has no idea how to start building a life here.
Oh, I'm going to give him my extra hat.
As he shivers in the only warm clothes he owns, we give him mittens and a hat. Mohammed is just one of the thousands here unsure of his road ahead. In a place that is also reeling with a spiraling homelessness and opioid crisis.
Hi, how are you?
Mayor Jim Diodati has been taken aback by the rate of new arrivals and the needs that come with them.
It went from 87 rooms to 300 rooms, then it went to 687 rooms, then it went to 1,500 rooms, then they said 1,700 and 2,000 is next. So we said, well, where are we going with this? I mean, how big is this going to get?
Diodati says the city has had to absorb $5 million in costs to deliver social services to asylum seekers. And once tourist season begins, hotels will be in demand, so will the money they generate. And the question is, where can asylum seekers go then? Where are they going to go after? How are they going to be supported in this city? Do you have enough affordable housing? Do you have enough kind of resources to support them?
A lot of them are trying to plant roots in our community, and we don't have the housing stock. We have a shortage. And we actually, as a matter of fact, we just declared it the region of Niagara. It's an emergency. It's an opioid, homeless, affordability emergency in our community. And we know we're not unique. This is all over Canada and around the world. It's like we're getting hit from all angles, and now we bring in thousands more people.
The lack of preparedness has left other communities pushing back too. Since Quebec closed its doors, 1,400 asylum seekers have come through Cornwall alone. 800 people are still here at this hotel and at another hotel on the other side of town. The city says it gets little to no warning about when the next busload of asylum seekers will arrive, and it says it's really struggling to support their needs.
I'm Ioanna, nice to meet you.
Justin Towndale is the mayor of Cornwall. He's exhausted after weeks of being constantly caught off guard.
We're not aware of when buses are arriving. We're not sure what country these individuals are from, what languages they speak.
How hard is it for you to manage the people who have arrived, who continue to arrive?
It adds another layer of unpredictability because there's a lot of agencies that want to help, They don't know how to help yet, and when they're getting caught off guard by people showing up on their doors and they haven't planned for it, like food banks especially, they haven't allocated enough meals for that day, or other charities where they may have some clothing available, winter clothing, they have to plan for all this.
As hotels keep filling up, the city and community groups met with federal immigration officials last weekend, demanding better communication and support going forward.
Cornwall wants to help. We're a very generous community, we're a caring community, and we want to do what we can, but we need the resources to do it. It's the asylum claimants that suffer at the end. They're left in limbo with nowhere to go, nothing to do, and no way forward. As our costs mount and the pressures on our systems mount, we can't continue this.
Meantime, community groups are doing what they can to provide the basics and helping families enroll kids in schools, open bank accounts, and apply for work permits. Sonia Belil is with ACFO, a group that helps settle newcomers.
Do you have any concerns about being able to help people who are coming in still?
Definitely. We're very close to our community, so that's a reality. We know that resources are limited. Ça arrive souvent, malheureusement.
ACFO is trying to find people jobs too and ended up hiring Esperancine Desardouin and her husband Philippe. Desardouin worked as an aid worker in Haiti before the violence drove her family out.
Seeing firsthand the success of the program and seeing people establishing themselves with their families, and it makes that all that more special.
Desardouin was bused here after crossing at Roxham Road 4 months ago. She had hoped to stay in Quebec, but is grateful to now be working for the same group that helped her.
Is that important to you to feel like you're working and being part of the community?
Yes, it is very important for me because I have to give back when I receive. We feel we have now a good life.
It's a good life that so many like her are hoping to find. She and her family are settling into a new home filled with donations from the community.
All these furnitures from ACFO and also from my church. Yes,
For the first time in a long time, she says the future feels safer too.
What does it do for you, for your family, to be here now and to have your own home?
Yes, for all the family, you can see in my face my emotion, how I feel to have a townhouse. So I feel very, very good. I feel...
It's peace though, right?
It's peace. I feel peace in my heart. I feel love. I feel good.
What if everyone could have that outcome? I'm curious watching that. What is driving the spike?
It's part of a global migration crisis, Adrienne, and it's worth noting that claims for refugee status have spiked at official border crossings as well as pandemic border restrictions ease. And when we talk about Roxham Road, another factor could be the Safe Third Country Agreement between the U.S. and Canada, which states that asylum seekers should claim refuge in the first safe country they arrive in. That rule doesn't apply to irregular border crossings like Roxham Road. That's a loophole the federal government wants to renegotiate with the U.S. The Conservative Party says we should just shut it outright. So that may be contributing to people rushing over while they still can.
But in the long term, what's the plan?
The long-term plan is to move people across the country. The latest we've heard is in the Maritimes to ease the pressure. And they do want to match newcomers' skills to job shortages in Canada. We don't know yet, it's not clear yet, rather, how that's working out.
All right, Ioanna, thank you.
Thank you.